packaging cardstock recycling bin. Wow, so much free resource. It will end up in the bin, but I have a better plan for it. I'm gonna give it a new life. Hi everyone, it's Dragana from Saacibo. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, there's a big pile of mess on my desk. There's packaging from biscuits. What's this? Doesn't even say what it is. Moisturizers, medicine, more biscuits, tea, chocolates, tea, and so on and so forth. We are bombarded with packaging. No matter what you buy, it comes in a fancy packaging that you end up putting in your recycling bin. But I don't. I keep it in a big basket, and once it gets full and there's no room to add any more, I like to just get it out and see if I can make something fun with it. And today's video is going to be a two-part video. In the first part, we are going to be working on the cool backgrounds that we can use to create ephemera for our junk journals, and we are going to be creating the ephemera in the second part of the video. I will release both videos at the same time so that you don't have to wait for the second part. When it comes to recycling packaging to create art, bigger things like cereal boxes are actually perfect as journal covers, and that's what we normally do. But what do we do with these small bits? So first things first, you have to go through your pile of trash and have to make sure that all your surfaces are flat like this. So if in this case this was a T, so I have to cut it open like this, and now I can use it. So you basically just go ahead and do that with all of these. You see, that's very nice cardstock on the inside. It would be a shame to throw it away. I can already see cool looking tags here. Bookmarks. This is open. Moisturizer. Oh, little squeeze. And look at these things. They can be little tabs. Yeah, so I'm gonna go and try and open up as much as I can. Of course, I'm not gonna be able to complete all of this in front of the camera, but at least a few. And we'll try a few different techniques. Let's go through the stuff that we need for this. You will need some white paint. It can be watered down gesso, because the gesso as it is, it's kind of really thick. You can use it thick as well. You might end up with a different texture. That's fine. You can also use just white acrylic, or you can use primer white, which is like watered down gesso. So I'm going to be using this one probably because it's easiest for me. Okay, so I'll put these aside. You will need a brush and a sponge, a container to put the paint in, and some clean water to clean your brush. I'm going to be using some rust today. If you have rust already prepared, that's great. If you don't and you'd like to make some, I have a video in which I explain exactly how to make this rust water, and I will leave the link down below. You will also need some plain water to clean your brushes, and I have some water here in a spray bottle. Of course, the gloves. If you're going to be handling the rust, you want the gloves on because it really stains your skin. And if you have some stencils, that's kind of good to have. Even if you have just one, it's great. It could be even something that you made yourself. You can use bubble wrap as well. At the end, once the first part of the decorating is finished, I like to decorate my papers with some permanent inks and some stamps. Okay, so permanent inks and some stamps. So we'll do that at the very end. If you have some spray inks, some other acrylics, alcohol inks, you can use those too. I'll show you a few examples of that as well. Let's just get started. There's several ways of doing this. I'll take a few. I'll work on a few at the same time. Okay, let's do that one. So you get the paint, either gesso, white acrylic, or primer paint if you have some. And you just dip in your brush I'll show you on this example because it's darker colors, you'll see better. And you just go with a dry brush, several strokes. Don't worry about covering everything. Just like that. Okay. Let's do several more. Okay, you want some areas to have more paint and some areas to have no paint at all. And you'll see in a minute why. Okay, put that one aside. And let's do this one as well. And this is going to get messy, so cover your working area. If you don't want to get stains on your desk, just put some paper on. Okay, let's get this done. Because if it's darker color, you might be able to see better. Now, another way of doing it, if you have some stencils, which one should we use? Let's do this one. If you have some stencils, you can do this with stencils. Okay, and even just a little bit like this. Okay, put that one aside. Okay, I have some paint left on that stencil, so I'm just going to press it down. There we go, another one is done. Saves me time cleaning up later. Okay, let's do one with just with this. So I'm gonna apply the paint on the bubble wrap. I'm just going to is done as well. Let's do this one with just that. But don't cover it completely. I want some with this stencil. The point is to just get some paint on the surface, and you can use a few of these techniques at the same time, like the brush and the sponge and the stencil. Just have fun. Alright, let's put them aside to dry. I have a little bit more paint left. Alright, another way of starting to work on these backgrounds, instead of putting the gesso or the white paint first, you put the rust down first. And let's do some of these. Okay, so you take your brush and you dip it into that rust and you simply paint. Now, one thing to remember about rust, when you first apply it down, it looks as if nothing has happened. It looks really pale. And then you might be tempted to just keep painting and painting, but just remember this: as it dries, it becomes really dark, much darker than originally. And I like to, once I paint it, I like to just do a few drops like this, just for the interest. Okay, I just want to quickly show you. This is how dark it gets. Okay, it starts light like that, but it gets much, much darker. So just keep that in mind. I'll put it here so that you can see how it's changing. Okay, let's do a few more. It also depends on the surface. Like this cardstock is darker, kind of yellowish, so that the final result might be a little bit different. So yeah. And there, I want to show you this. If you don't want it really dark, you can spray it with water first. And then do this. Might be a little bit more dramatic. And then you go again with I find it's best to have something on the floor, put them all flat down and just do a whole lot at the same time and let them dry. That way you won't have to move them, because once you move them, the rust and water start to move. Let's do this one. I'll just start again by applying the rust. I find that getting these backgrounds painted with rust gives me really nice results, and rust is just so cost effective. It's much, much cheaper than using coffee or tea to stain your paper. Okay. Now, another thing you can do at this stage, while this is still wet, if you have some spray inks, perhaps some Tim Holtz spray inks or whatever spray inks you've got, you can do that now. So I have these. You can spray or you can just do a few drops. And that way you might end up with a slightly different color. Okay. Let's do a few more. I was doing this last night and I just wanted to keep going. This is so much fun. Once I start, I usually just can't stop. I made a mistake of starting too late at day, and then I had to stop to go to bed, and then I couldn't sleep. I just had to fight the urge to come downstairs into my craft room and keep working. My struggle went on until about 2 in the morning, I think. So I'm going to use some brown spray ink here just to see how is that going to affect the color. See how it reacts with rust. What about this magenta? So we have a few different ones. Okay, a few more. This is fun. Okay, I just want to try it with some alcohol inks as well. I've got, what is it, olive green. Just to see how it reacts with rust. This color, aqua green. That looks interesting. Maybe a few drops of rust. Another thing you can do, especially when you have bigger pieces, is apply the rust over the stencil. Okay, so put the stencil down. And then you just apply the rust. You can also apply the rust and then put the stencil down. You can do that as well. Just end up with a little bit darker result. And I'll just put the rest here. Now it's also fun to just do some sprays. Should we spray with these? Let's just do on one side. Okay. Okay, let's put this one. Want to make sure it's kind of stuck. I have some white ink spray. Maybe I can spray with that here. I think I'm gonna let these dry. I think we have plenty to play with. I'll just leave them as they are, and then I will come back in about an hour once they're completely dry, and then we'll continue working on those. I am back. These seem to all dry. I like what that looks like. It's dry too. This one looks very nice. That one as well. Look at these. Oh, very nice. I think this hasn't dried completely yet. As you can see, the rust ends up being much darker in the end once it's dry. I love what that looks like. We sprayed with that light blue ink spray, and then this one looks a bit lighter, and I think it's because this cardstock obviously was treated with something, so it wasn't so absorbent as, for instance, this one. That's another thing. If the surface is really shiny, it will not absorb the same way as something that's more porous. Okay, so I thought I'll put these aside for a minute and we'll work on these ones that we've done with white paint. Okay, and I'll put these away for a second. Okay, I better put my gloves on straight away. We've done these with paint, and I said I was going to explain why I did not do the whole thing with paint, or just certain areas, whether with the brushes or with stencils. Simply because where there's no paint, the cardstock will absorb more rust, and that area is going to be darker than the area where there's white paint. Okay, so as you can see, the rust does not behave the same way on white paint or gesso as it does on a surface when there's none of that. Okay, put that one there. Yeah. And you get to see the brush strokes really stand out when you do this technique. And then we can just do a few drops as well, just for the interest. Look at my sleeves. I'm thinking I might have to do this whole blouse with rust. When you spray, it just gets everywhere. We've done this one, I think, just with the sponge, and it's looking nice. Okay, now do this. Now this cardstock is a different color. It's not white, it's more like the natural color. So obviously the final result is going to be slightly different than, for instance, this one. That's all good. Now this is going to take a while to dry. Really absorbed a lot. Now here, because we have that really nice white, I'm thinking maybe I can add some of that spray ink. Just to have a little bit of something different. A few drops. I like to do this on these recycled materials because it allows me to practice different techniques without worrying that I'm going to, destroy the paper or whatever. It's just some brown spray ink. Yeah, so it's really good to practice and see how the colors mix and try different things. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but at least you tried and you know what works and what doesn't. this one. It's a little bit more something. Maybe I'll go with the magenta one. Just to have different things. Do that as well. Close it on itself. You can also have, if you put too much, you can pick it up with another. It's so much fun later on. When they dry, they don't look really like they do now. And it's okay. That's nice. I want to add a bit more rust here. Okay. What else? Let's do some with alcohol inks. Some blue ones. I didn't do any blue ones. Oh, this is green. So yeah, we get to experiment. Okay, is that enough of the alcohol inks? I don't really want to put the mask on, but if I keep going, I might have to. I think I'm safer to just do these spray inks. Let's do that, just the brown. And then this one. I think we've done this one with bubble wrap. Like, I love this part, this is fun part, but also once you get to use them, I can't really tell you what's more fun. Cutting them up and making things with these papers, or creating them. I sort of enjoy both of the processes equally. This one was also done with the sponge and that. All right, so with these ones, they now need to dry, and then we can continue working on the ones that we started with the rust. Let's see what we've got here. So this one seems to be the first. Now here, I don't think I want to stencil anything on top. I kind of like it as it is. I might just do a few white drops, just like that, to offset that green and orange. This one was done with rust, and alcohol inks. So I will leave this one as it is. I kind of like it like that. Okay, this one's a bit plain, so I think I want to do some stencil work. And now again, we can just use the same white paint that we used at the beginning, or if you have some other acrylics, you might as well use them, you know, if you want a specific color. Like I'll just do this one in white, and then we can experiment with other colors. So which one should we use? I kind of like this one. So this is a slightly different technique, but relatively similar result. Here only white stands out a little bit more than it does when we did the other thing, when we stenciled first. We'll put the paint first and then rust. Okay, so let that dry a little bit. Now here, let's use a different stencil, kind of like this one. And we can use several of them. Okay. That. Okay. That's that one. Now this one's turned out really nice. What did this one? It would be nice to actually have some of that in white now. It's the same stencil. I'm running out of room. Okay, oh, this is a nice one. We have some pinks there. Should we use this one? Maybe we can try another color, like instead of white, why don't I use, it says Nile green. All right, Nile green. Looks all right. And I'll add a little bit of this yellow. So I'll use like 2 different colors. I'll just use this one. Really nice, love it. I tend to use similar colors all the time, and this way, you know, it's good to experiment with other things you might have in your studios and craft rooms. You know, something that perhaps you wouldn't normally think of using. Very oriental feel. I like it. Okay. Maybe I'll spray with a bit of white. one's done too. Okay, let's do this one. And here we already have some of that. So maybe I'll just, there's a bit of paint here. Let's see if it's going to transfer. Yes. That's good. And then we'll add some more. Okay, let's do some white drops here as well. And the lucky last, now this one's really busy, really dark in some areas and yet very light in the others. So I think I want to just soften that up a little bit. I can see there's a little bit of green there, so yeah. I might as well just clean these stencils. There's no right or wrong in here. Just do whatever pleases you. I will add a little bit of this, and I'm gonna use this one. Okay, I think I need a little bit more of the white. Use this one. Maybe these letters. Now I'm very happy with this one. I am loving these papers. They're all nice and dry. Now I have to decide if I want to add anything else to them. I was gonna do a few darker drops. I'll just try it in one corner just to see if that's really what I want. Really happy with that one. Now this one as well. I don't think I want to stamp or anything else. This one also. And I like this one the way it is. These four, I'm just thinking, I'll start with this one. It just needs a little something else. So in that case, maybe we can do a bit of stamping. I think I want to use this one. I bought it ages ago and I never use it. And this is just a little something, and it serves as a perfect platform. Stamps stick to it. Okay, I'm just using some brown ground espresso ink. So see there, a little bit there. You can also do this, which is the way I prefer to use stamps when I do these backgrounds, because I don't necessarily want the full print. I'll probably leave it at that. I'm happy with that. It's got enough. All right, so here as well we have just white and orange, and I'm thinking that perhaps I want to use this stamp here. It's still in its original packing. I didn't even take it off. So yeah, just something like that. And maybe this one, I put a few different stamps on this acrylic block, so maybe now I'm happy with that one as well. Okay, let's do this. All right, this one has enough of colors and all, but I feel like I still want to add something to it, so maybe I'll use this stamp. Love it. Oh, it's pretty. Okay, maybe here. So I'll just stamp off the excess ink. So now I'm happy with that one as well. Now this one is very kind of pretty, and I don't think these grungy looking stamps would work, so maybe I'll just use this text. I think this one would look good if I add some flowers or something like that. Butterflies. Very nice. I love this one as well. Okay, so that's those. Now, we still have these ones to the side, and we've done this with the paint first and then gesso over. So let's do these. Love this one. Maybe here. It is a bit grungy looking, but I think it might look good with this one. there's a drop, it will have to be there. Lovely. Happy with that one. Now this one, we can take this any way we want. So I'll use some music. Like that. This one, we can also leave them something like this, and then you decide what you want to make, like if you want to make a tag, and then do it later on. You don't have to make a decision immediately. That's what I'm trying to say. You can leave them as they are. Decorate them later on. I just like to do this like this, more like a mess make. It is just easier, especially if you're getting your paints out, you're making mess. Once you finish with this, you can just relax and have fun. Okay. Oh, what the hell. Let's have one butterfly here. Why not? Look it. Look good. Love it. Oh, turned out really cool. Okay, next. This one now. This one is quite busy. I would love to maybe add a little bit more white to it, but it's good to have a variety. It doesn't have to all be the same. What is that brown one? So I'll probably use the black for this. Yeah. Why not have one that is darker than the others? You know what? I think this one would look good if I just spray a little bit of gold on it. I'm not gonna spray it. I'll just do this. This is actually fabric paint, gold. And I just use it on paper. If it works on fabric, it works on paper. And maybe a little bit of white. To like mix. I love it now. Okay, so that one's done too. I'll put it over there in the corner till it dries. Now what do we have here? Let's just do a simple one. think it needs anything else. Just text and butterflies. Just realized I have this one. Ah, Da Vinci. Use this stamp. Better put it in the book. What else is here? This. A stamp. I just have to have a butterfly as well. I don't know. That's that one. Here. And of course the butterfly. Nice. Happy with that one as well. All right, now here definitely has that grungy look, but the colors are very nice. Just do this. Put the whole thing down. Great. It's done. Love it. It's done. Now this one, I put rust on it, but it didn't really take, maybe because that cardstock was darker color and it just soaked it all in. So it's not really orange, it's just that brown, which is totally fine. I'll just use this brown ink. I really like this stamp. This. I'm just turning it all around. And that one's done as well. We made so much cool stuff and I can't wait to start using them. Even this one, different one a little bit. I can't tell you which is my favorite. In the second part of this video, which will be released at the same time as the first part, we will be making things with these. Just some ephemera for our junk journals. Okay, so see you in part 2.